Neil, what up, man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good. Appreciate you waiting here. I just nerd out with Aaron all the time, so maybe we had to delay nerding out with you, but I'm eager to get into all the cool shit you're building, man. I hadn't actually dove deep into your world, and now I'm like, okay. So you are the CEO of Dawn, a decentralized broadband network that enables users to share their internet capacity. Uh, guess
That is correct.
you're making the argument that the internet is way too centralized and that you are here to solve it.
Well, the argument I'd make is actually, I think, a little bit more profound. At least I hope.
Okay.
It's that we as a society are going from a wired world to a wireless one. Like we're kind of seeing that from everything from 5G technology to SpaceX and all this kind of stuff. And so my hope is that given that wireless is kind of here to replace wires, can we use this as an opportunity to build a better, faster, cheaper internet for all of us? And that I think is kind of the unique power that really crypto offers, is that you can kind of build that incentive layer that aligns both of those transitionary forces, right? The desire for a consumer-led cheaper solution, but also with the fact that wireless is kind of the final frontier for communications, and we as a society have that technology finally in place to build this new internet.
Okay, so I just got a 3 gigabit line piped into my machine here because I feel like why the hell not? And maybe I can go share my Wi-Fi password with my neighbors here and charge them $5. Are you just enabling me to do that in a bigger, better way, or is there some other nuance to what the Dawn ecosystem brings to the table?
That's exactly it from the consumer perspective. So there's a lot more that we do from like the provider side of it, but the way you've described it is perfect. Is that anybody that has a surplus internet connection, they should have the ability to be able to monetize that, because that's exactly what happened directly at data centers. And so the key example that I always give is like I have a gigabit connection to my home, but I'm paying 128 bucks per month for that. But even this live stream that we're recording right now is using like 0.5% of my total supply. So if I had the ability to be able to sell that surplus, it's a huge savings on my internet bill. And that's honestly what I do exactly with my three other neighbors that live in this building with me, is that I got a small $150 device that is broadcasting a signal to the three of them, and we're each splitting the internet bill 4 ways. So it ends up becoming just a good use of my time and money to spend this on this hardware that can build a new type of internet here. And that's kind of like one angle of it, right? Is that you can give consumers the ability to monetize their excess in the area. But the flip side, which kind of goes back to that first point, is that same $128 internet connection I'm paying, it only costs 50 cents at a data center. So if consumers had the ability and the technology to piggyback or to bypass the end providers and go directly to the internet, the wholesale internet, that's I think was where things get really compelling. And there's no reason a gigabit internet connection can't cost $5 or $10 if you can do something like that.
Can you talk through how that, I guess, disintermediation of internet service providers would
Because
happen?
I would love that.
Yeah.
I despise my internet provider. Despise them.
How do I go plug into a data center?
So the easiest answer is that you need somebody at the data center that is willing to broadcast its signal outwards. And so that's kind of where the token incentivized model comes in, is that if you have access to wholesale internet, the chances are your business model already includes selling internet, right? Right. If you're a data center, you're selling internet to your tenants in your building, right? It doesn't matter whether you're a cloud company, internet service provider. They're taking all of the fiber cables that are there, bundling it into one subscription, and then selling it to the people that are in the building. So the kind of logical conclusion is that if wireless is good enough, why not broadcast that out from your roof for 7+ miles, and now anybody in that vicinity can tap into it? And so I think like from the end consumer side of stuff, it's thinking very similar, like how do you create this Starlink like experience for like an installation where anybody can grab a gigabit plus connection? And then on the token incentivized side, it's how do you create that network powered by data centers and folks like you, Jess, that have access to surplus connectivity that are just looking for ways to monetize it.
So I guess my shock here is that wireless is effective enough to make that happen, because right now I have fiber. I'm plugged right into. I'm hardwired in here, and there's a big drop off between this and say what I get in my living room when I'm watching Netflix because of the router. Am I just like drastically underexposed to sort of the improvements in technology from a antenna perspective?
That's correct. It's actually more from like the radio modulation perspective. So what
Okay.
I mean by that is like all of the technology that we're familiar with from a wireless side, it's like probably Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. But Wi-Fi and Bluetooth were designed to operate in kind of a crowded environment where there's not really an underlying coordination mechanism between them. And the way that you can think about it that it works is that your router will just kind of broadcast and say, hey, can I talk to Jess's computer? Can I talk to his computer? And then only when there's a quiet moment will it actually finally do that. And so you can see how that quickly spirals out of control, where if you have a bunch of people's routers that are close by and they're each waiting for a window of time where they can broadcast a signal, you end up waiting forever. And so we've seen then now to combat that, there's this whole category of fixed wireless. So think like these rooftop radios antennas that are designed to coordinate on very specific time slices. And that type of technology and the modulation protocols around that are what really put us into this next generation of wireless where you can actually build a coordination mechanism across many different users to be able to take advantage of that. And that is kind of the contribution that we build on the protocol side of stuff is we take all of the physics, we take all of the modulation, we take all of the IP information, and we put that on chain. So you essentially have a network that is fully represented on chain. So this wireless technology can effectively utilize the resources that it has. So the simple answer is, yeah, there's a whole world of fixed wireless that's out there that has only been reserved for telecom operators. And our mission is to bring that to the end consumer because the value unlock is just so damn big.
And do you require those telecoms to be on board, or are we just like bypassing them completely?
It's a combination of both. So I think it's, on one side, it's bypassing them completely. On the second side, it's also enabling them to leverage a better business model. And so we haven't announced this news yet, but we have a partnership that we're going to be announcing in Africa, for example, where it's a father-son led business that have poured their time and money into building a local fiber infrastructure. And now we're giving them our Dawn technology that just allows them to scale a little bit more effectively.
Yeah, it's pretty. If you look back at the history of cable and cable news, etc., like these guys literally just had big ass antennas that they then wired out from to create these local networks, and so that's fascinating. Some sci-fi shit. Okay, so I think you guys had the black box, which is very intriguing to me. Can you tell us more about what that is and why it's dope?
Yeah, the black box is kind of my vision, I guess, for what I think everybody in DePIN and crypto is inherently building towards. And I think the entire thesis for all of DePIN and crypto is how do you build a supply chain that is ultimately owned by the consumer? And in this case, that supply chain is digital infrastructure, digital resources, right? Compute, positioning, right? Storage, AI inference, all of this kind of stuff, power, wireless, right? It's all of the digital infrastructure that private equity companies invest in that powers the lives around us, right? We don't really see it, but if you look outside, you might see a telecom tower, or you might see like a little substation, whatever that is. And really deepen in crypto is this trend of taking all of that infrastructure and bringing it closer to our lives. And there's so many different tailwinds that really justify that. Like in the case of CDN networks, right? There's a reason why CDNs are getting closer and closer to people's homes. And so my idea behind the black box has always been like, let's just take where we're at and look 15 years from now. What's the logical conclusion of that? And the logical conclusion is that all of this infrastructure is going to get closer and closer to people's homes until it's eventually within our own homes. And we're seeing that through cellular infrastructure. We're seeing that through CDNs, right? And so my idea was if you could take all of these DePIN resources and put them into one box, what is that ultimate form factor? And the idea that we had is, why not have it be the router, right? The router in your home is the one thing that upgrades with regular technology cycles. It's the staple of every home that doesn't actually move. And so in my mind, it's really kind of this fixed appliance, kind of like your fridge or your microwave or your toaster that just powers the internet of the future directly in your box. And I think as we look at like the massive growth of AI, we're going to quickly run up to the point where the scarce resource is going to become real estate and power. And the home is kind of the last bastion of that scarce resource. And I very much so want to build that protocol that mediates the exchange of that resource with both capital markets and both with deep, infrastructure deployers as well.
That's really sick. Can you talk about what DePIN projects you're integrated with today? Like if I buy the black box, I assume I can run Dawn. Can I run Helium? Like what else can I?
Yeah, how long is it going to take me to make my money back on this thing?
Also.
We'll be publishing a lot of information on that pretty soon, but the idea is that it should be the most effective way for earning your money back because it's sharing a bunch of resources that are common to all deepen projects, right? It doesn't matter if you're like Helium, which we do support. It doesn't matter whether it's Blockcast, whether it's Pipe, whether it's Archeum. All of these boxes, they need a power supply, they need a motherboard, and they need a processor. So if you can kind of co-locate all of those into one, it's only going to make sense that it's the best bang for your buck to be able to deploy this infrastructure.
All right. Well, you have the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, right now we've announced 11 protocols, including Dawn, but we got another 10 that we're going to be announcing relatively soon. Everything from like CDNs to the inference layer to the storage layer, the compute layer, the wireless layer, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, Neil, we got to let you go because we just talk too much here. But this is fascinating.
We're going to nerd out too long.
Very. You've done a great job at, I think, being very concise here and at least intriguing me that there's a lot more here. There's something about me being able just to plug in a box at my house that's going to make me money. That is, I mean, maybe the root of my intrigue for DPIN generally. Kind of has like old school mining vibes. I think many people who are maybe coming to crypto later missed out on that whole era. I mean, I missed out on it. I remember talking to a guy who's just like, I used to repair computers and then I found Bitcoin and decided just to start mining Bitcoin. And now he's got the biggest house on the waterfront that you ever seen. And I was like, started with a couple little boxes. But yeah, I'm intrigued. Maybe we can DM afterwards because I like plugging in boxes.
They're for sale. They're for sale today, right? You can go buy them. Nice.
Oh shit, dude.
They're for sale today, but we're pretty low on quantity. So Jess, please ping me on that.
All
I'll
right.
make sure to get.
Yeah, that'd be fun to plug in. All right, Neil. You can go find out more about Neil at Dawn Internet. That's at Dawn Internet. Yes, lots of stuff to dive into on your website. Yeah, I love this. There's a whole world here that, again, I was very ignorant of, and yet you've captured my intrigue. So we shall chat more, man, and love to check in with you again as you continue to go after this big opportunity.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. Appreciate the questions. We'll be in touch.
Peace, man.